Hi all, this is Dr.
Hello,
A and
and Mr. Spike
streaming live from
from
Long
Long Good
Island, New York.
New New York, right?
We're not in
Just
sync.
like I pictured it,
You know,
skyscrapers and
Frank,
everything.
we're not in sync on our intro. We have to rehearse that.
We have to do a better intro. Well,
Not better.
it's yours. That whole New Long Island is your thing. So I don't
Yeah,
want to steal that from you.
I'm sure nobody else has ever done that, right?
What? Say the word long as if it's a long word.
Long
Long.
Island, New York. I
You
mean,
know, across the country they'd probably say Long Island.
yeah. Nobody says bad boys outside of Long Island, New York, except for the bad girls.
Except the bad girls.
I used to like the bad girls.
Really? Now
Yeah.
that's actually a bit of a shock. I would have guessed that you were one of those people who like the good girls.
No, I used to be a bad boy.
Really?
I grew up in a bad neighborhood.
Yeah, I grew up in a bad neighborhood, but I hid in my house, so I
Well,
ended up I ended up staying a good boy.
I was chased into my house a few times, into my
You
apartment dwelling, not house.
you what?
My apartment.
Oh yeah, right. We called it a house, even
I
though it
think
wasn't really much of a house.
we paid something like $11 a month rent when I was a kid for a two-bedroom apartment.
See,
One
Dr. J,
flight up.
you're dating yourself again.
Oh,
$11 a month?
$11 a month. And
Oh
one
boy.
time, I'll share this with you, just with you, not with
Yeah.
anybody else.
All right. Well, everybody else got to turn off your mics,
Yeah, turn off your
turn
mics.
off your
I
speakers.
once, upon a time when I was about 9, maybe 10, saved up enough money to buy a bicycle because well, a couple of kids on the block were rich enough to afford a bicycle. So I figured I'm going to try to get one of those bicycles. I learned how to ride, was excited, two-wheeler. So I saved up, I think, $29,
Uh,
and that would have been enough back then for a
yeah,
pretty
you
nice.
get a nice bike for those days.
Hey,
Look,
Siri.
if you can get an apartment for $11.
Well, Siri is anticipating the punchline,
See, really?
she got on
That's
with
funny.
it. So the
That's funny.
punchline is, you want to guess the punchline?
Let's see,
It, has,
$29.
it ties in with the rent.
Next you're going to say, where the hell is Rhode Island? Where the hell is Utah?
No,
I was just I'm waiting for that. Maybe
it
this is like
ties in with the
a
rent.
multi-week joke where you tease me and tease me, and then one day it makes sense to say where the
Look,
hell is
I
Utah?
wouldn't have told the story about the rent if I didn't have a follow-up to that rent story.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry.
it had to do with the rent, which by that time was maybe instead of $11, $19, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or more. It goes up $2, $3 a year, inflation.
Sure.
So, so I had the $29, all ones, and the next day I take a look at my cash and I have nothing, disappeared. So I asked my father, where'd my money go? He said, well, I had to take it to pay the rent.
Oh,
So he'll make it up to me. Well, I never did get that bike.
yeah. I guess not.
The
I'm sure
first
it took a
bike
very
I
long time to
bought,
scare up that money the first
first
time.
bike I bought, I think I was, I'll tell you how old I was. I was probably about 40. First bike I ever bought.
Did it have a bell?
And that was a pretty shitty bike also. I bought it in, TSS on
Oh, absolutely. Times Square stores.
back in Brooklyn.
Yes.
I think it was in Howard Beach.
What, the one that was next to Corvettes?
Wait a second, wasn't there a TSS? I'm trying to think.
There was one in Long Island. There was one like
Well,
right
maybe
around
the one
where.
in Long Island I bought it in near Green Acres. Was there one?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, probably. And that was a pretty shitty bike. Hey, Cabinet Guy is on from the Green Mountain States, and John Hill is on.
Oh.
So anyway, I bought a bike. Probably didn't cost me much more than $29 when I was 40 years old. But
Right.
probably all I could afford at the time because I just bought my first house. So anyway, finally, I bought a very expensive off-road bike. One of those Cannondales. I still
Right.
And I used it very well until the point that I went over the handlebars, landed on my head, almost killed myself. So it's now in my garage if anybody wants a Cannondale bike. All right. So anyway, that's the end of the bike story. How about the Knicks?
How about them Knicks? Isn't it funny? That's what they say. So you're telling me they're not maybe I was a little too premature as usual. When I decided I was going to become a Nets fan instead of a Knicks fan.
Well, the Nets and the Knicks they're actually making it enjoyable. Hey, Lynn is on. Good evening.
Oh yeah, hey Lynn.
Yeah, so I really like watching the Nets and the Knicks on television now. Since they got the new coach, the Knicks have come to life.
Yeah, that'll last for about a week.
Well, probably, but I was really impressed.
So it'll be a good week then, right?
When they played the Hawks, they looked like world champs the other night. The Knicks. The Hawks are the only team in basketball with a worse record than the Knicks.
That's funny.
The Knicks is 7-21 now. They were 4 and what? 4 and
4 and a lot. Well,
4 and a lot. 4 and infinity. So they won 3 out of 6 since the new coach. I don't know where they got this coach from. I never heard of him. Never saw him before. But he seems to have motivated them.
Yeah, well, nothing puts the fear of death in you.
What's going to happen tonight at Miami? Miami is 21-7. The Knicks is 7-21.
At Miami, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that'll be a bit of a fish fry.
I don't know. They really
the Knicks will feel the heat.
They will feel the heat.
They will feel the heat.
All right, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think they're going to cover the points, whatever they are. They're on.
Miami?
The Knicks are on a roll.
So who's the favorite in that game?
Miami.
Of course.
Big favorite. I don't know what it is. It's probably 4.5, 5 or more. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Well, the Miami Heat is any big shakes these days anymore either.
I've never bet professional basketball. I have bet college hoops in the past. I never liked professional ball for betting. All right. It always comes down to the last 2 minutes by the points. Always. In fact,
exactly.
Usually the whole game comes down to the last 2 minutes. Basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's an old saying, the team that scores the most points typically wins.
Typically.
Yeah.
Very typically. So who do you like in football? Anything?
Well, there actually is one game that's interesting. I'm looking at the ones that seem to be most interesting. Yeah. For me, interesting means it was hard for me to make a bet. This one is the Cowboys at the Eagles.
Oh, yeah. That's for the winner takes all, so to speak.
Essentially, yeah. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. Cowboys are favored by 3. Eagles have the home team advantage because they're going to be playing at Philadelphia. So this was a very tough one for me. Even the crowd is split with this spread. It's like 54% people want Cowboys, and that doesn't mean anything because they're America's team. And 46% want the Eagles.
I like both quarterbacks. I like Prescott and I like Wentz.
Excuse me. Yeah, I agree with you.
Bless you, or shall we say Gesundheit?
Gesundheit. I never knew what that meant. It means something like going good health. Good health or good health.
Say whatever, either one.
Now, so you're not gonna put your neck out on this particular game then?
I'm rooting for the Eagles because if I don't, my son-in-law won't talk to me.
Oh, okay.
He's from Philadelphia.
Yeah, you know, this is like trying to. Oh, I just don't like the Jets this week. It's like, why is that? Oh, you know, just some sort of. Oh, because we're rooting for them, right? It's like this is money.
The Eagles look pretty good
The
lately.
Eagles look okay. The Cowboys actually they have some money on the line because they really want to get even though I think they both have losing records or something, but they're still going to be one of them still gets to be in the
Well,
playoffs.
is Garrett gonna want to win, or is he gonna want to lose? Lynn feels bad about Amron, but since it's not over, they may turn it around for me. They will. They'll turn it around for me, but ACST has his chance to come through for both of us. A win is a win. Absolutely. You must have said something that Lynn likes. No, so is the sneeze.
Oh, it's my sneeze. Yeah, thank you very much, Lynn. I appreciate it.
So, anyway, what are you taking, book?
Well, no, I'm just. Am I taking book?
No.
Maybe that's what I should start doing.
Well,
I do need a retirement plan because I'm getting tired of
you
working.
can't lose when you take book.
Exactly. Well, you can. I know many a bookie who's gone out of business because they actually had an opinion. They've actually held an opinion.
What I lost in Amron, I made in acst, and I also made in prta, and I also made nicely in CVM this week. So I'm not going to complain about my week.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about CVM. Usually we do that one. I don't want to jinx it, but I did take a small position just to play.
All right.
Well, because but then now that I've announced it, everybody should start selling.
No, yo 11, man.
Yo 11. I know that's what that was as I was making that call. I said, okay, yeah, yo 11.
Roll the dice.
Which of course means I'm going to bail at 10.5.
Yo, on Wednesday night, somebody got on. I think it was Velocity is the name of the user, and she says "yo yo" to me on a comment. Yo 11.
Yep, yo 11.
Dr. J, what's your take on trxs? We'll chart it.
Yeah, what the hell?
List trxs. Okay, so is it time to look at the charts? I think so.
I'd say right now the S&P would be the chart to look at.
Before we do that, what did you think of the Democratic debates last night?
Oh, all of my fans are still in there. I mean, I like Klobuchar, and she was, holding court pretty well, and Uncle Joe looked good. He looked tough. He looked, he looked like he didn't look doddering or anything. He looked like he was taking command.
Yeah,
so I was very happy.
The front runner looked like he was in charge, right?
Exactly. And Elizabeth Warren came off a little whiny to me when she was talking about going into a wine cave. It's like I'd like to go in a wine cave. It seems like fun.
There was a lively exchange between her and Mayor Pete.
Yeah, and then Pete turned around and said, "Well, listen, when you ran for senator, you had a couple of millionaires on your, in your pocket."
Yeah.
So it was a pretty interesting exchange, and and then of course Amy Klobuchar had to come and go, "Oh, I've never been in a wine cave, but I have been in a wind cave."
Yeah.
In Nebraska or South Carolina,
South Dakota. Good. There's something about her. I'm not rooting for her. I don't know why.
Well, yeah, actually, I
do know why, but I'm not going to say why.
Oh, okay.
But I have my.
I'd like to see I'd like to see her to be a VP.
I'm not rooting for Bernie. I'm not rooting for Elizabeth Warren. I'm not rooting for Amy. I'll be happy between Biden and Mayor Pete and Bloomberg.
You think Bloomberg's going to be a dark horse?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, he's got enough money for it, but I don't know. It seems to me it feels like he hasn't earned it, despite the fact that he's paying for it.
Cabinet guy wants us to have another look at ddog.
ddog? We haven't done that in a little while.
We did it a week ago.
Did we?
Yeah.
See, and you were the one drinking vodka, and I'm the one who doesn't remember.
Well, all right. So anyway, who do you like to run for the Republicans the coming election? You think Trump will survive the run?
You know they say ABT, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, anybody but. Yeah, Joe will do fine, Lynn. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Uncle Joe's gotta stay the front runner. I was just wondering whether or not all this impeachment stuff wasn't going to just be like a kamikaze job. Well, if I go down, Joe's going down with me, that kind of thing. But luckily, despite all the yelling and everything, it hasn't hurt his front runner status.
Yeah. I think he's certainly the one that
lucky.
Trump is most afraid of him of all the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the one that could definitely beat him in Pennsylvania, maybe beat him in Wisconsin, so on.
That would be nice.
Yeah. So I think Joe Biden.
Not that you and I are taking sides.
No, look, I mean, I'm apolitical. I just want to see somebody that's down the middle in terms of policy. I don't like extreme left or extreme right.
Yeah, we get whiplash if we move too far to the left, and then it'll actually make everybody who's saying everything that the Democrats do, characterizing this socialist.
Yeah, I mean,
if we vote for Elizabeth Warren, they'll actually.
That's when my biotechs are heating up. The Democrats on the panel, one after another, were ranking on the pharmaceuticals. I wanted to kill them.
Yeah, right. Ixnay on the Ottenray.
Yeah, and not only that, what stock do I love the most? Amazon. Every one of them hates Amazon.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. And you would think that the only one with animus to Jeff Bezos would have been.
Everybody in every party hates Amazon. Do you know that? Even Trump hates Amazon.
People can't get out of their own way.
They all hate Amazon.
Yeah, well, actually,
they all agree on hating Amazon.
Yeah, the chart has been up and down this week. I don't know if you saw that. Because I'm looking to say, all right, look, I could buy all of one share with my play money.
Yeah.
And so it's a question of, do I buy it at 1,600?
So ddog is one, trxs is another. All right.
Okay.
Let's get to the video charts.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. So I have my favorites, of course. That would be CVM, prta, acst, arwr, and Amazon, maybe MTNB.
Oh yeah, MTNB. We're not doing any of the marijuana stuff this week, right? Marijuana has been.
I like.
They've been having a lot of trouble this week.
I do like Curaleaf. It bounced up today. I almost bought it in the low fives, I think it was. Should have. I have a nice position, but I was going to add to it. All right, share screen.
I agree with you, Lynn.
I might even take a stab on your MedMen.
My MedMen.
MedMen.
Well, you certainly have a step-in opportunity. That thing's been massacred.
I think MedMen at 60 cents is maybe worth.
Exactly. Yeah, much better than the $3 I spent.
Well, yeah.
I did cost average down to about $1.50.
I don't blame you because it's probably oversold. I don't think they're going out of business, so they're oversold.
Well, I asked my friends in California where they shop, and that's the name they mentioned. So, people are still using them,
The Dow had a disappointing day today, even though it was up.
It was up, though.
At the open, it was up to over 20. So it gave up. And it's basically a solid red candle and looks like it's going to continue on down on Monday. Maybe try to close a little gap that it made. So I'm a little bit negative on the Dow going into Monday. And not that that's a serious thing. I think we get a more correct. Said all along, route to 30K, we might get a 3. And I think we might just do that from the top. So if the top was, you're good in math, right?
Not
The top
arithmetic.
was 28.6. Are you good in 28.6 was the top, take 2%. So that's 282, let's say 290 times 3. It's about a little 870 off of that.
Okay.
So that would be 25.7, something like that. Let's see what this candle is. The low is 28.2, so it'd go lower than that if it corrects. But I think it's going to at least, maybe not do any correction, just go down to 28.2 and then start going up again, maybe.
Yeah, no.
So I think, yeah.
It doesn't look like it's even talking about touching the bottom. You know, it's just like it's not even an issue. It seems.
No, but it could and should correct along the way up. They don't go straight up; they go up, they go down.
Right,
I
but
learned that a long time.
it's not going down to that support line that you see.
One thing I learned when I was a little older than 9, when I told you that bike story, it was
right.
That stocks go up and stocks go down, and my nest egg for the bike goes up and it goes down the same way.
Well, I don't think I don't think the moral of that story was invest in the stock market so you could pay for a bicycle.
No, the moral of the story is I feels for the poor people in this country because I was brought up not too rich, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. More vodka?
So we have no. This is water.
Okay.
I only celebrate. I only celebrate.
we need at least a 40% breakout in the
That's right.
in CVM before you start breaking out the booze again.
The vodka doesn't come in a glass; it comes in a coffee mug.
Yeah, does it stay fresher that way?
This is not Stolichnaya. This is H2O. All right, so
now we were talking about a couple of requests that people had coming off the Dow.
Well, look, even if it pulls back to the low of 2 days ago, that's already a substantial pullback.
No, I was actually thinking about that 50 that you have that's sort of providing support all the way at the bottom, but that's not going to be touched. You're right. This line you're building now really looks like the line.
No, I think if anything, it could go down to the low. This would be a good bottom.
Right there, right.
27.8. Yeah, right about there. That would be a good bottom. All right,
which is the previous top.
Yeah, so I'm still very bullish. Don't get me wrong. I just think Monday will be a continuation of the downslide from off the top.
Now, did this sort of degradation happen towards the end of the day, or did it happen
throughout the day?
Well, I mean, look, there's all the noise about Boeing not being able to make a rocket ship probably had a little bit of an impact.
What it was really, but it was from the open. It's a full red candle.
Right.
The open. I think the open was almost a higher today. All right. None of this impeachment talk has had really any effect on the market.
No, I know that everybody's sort of astounded by that.
Vote.
It's just a non
no effect.
Well, I guess in a way that's good news.
Clinton wasn't that long ago, so maybe it's viewed as just another impeachment.
Right, exactly. Well, this whole strategy that the Democrats have about slow playing, handing it over to the Senate, might actually be one of the shrewdest moves I ever heard of.
Maybe.
It's just very,
But,
very, a very
on the other
interesting
hand,
play.
the argument that the Republicans are making has validity. They've been from day one, even before day one, from the candidate Trump on, they're talking impeachment. So they look like they were just waiting to get him. And let's face it, if you long enough, you can get anybody.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think just because they got Al Capone on tax evasion that they shouldn't have been going after Al Capone? I mean, sometimes
No.
you use the tools that you have. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing was, look, he paid off porn stars, which at least affected his campaign in New York, and so he
Yeah.
did taint the election one way or the other. But you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to go down on what you're actually guilty of, but it's like, but you don't
Yeah.
forget that it's actually a tip of a bigger iceberg. But of course, but everything's so political, so that you just have to say, all right, yes, you're right. It's on its own, it seems like a bullshit little charge, nothing impeachable. But on the
Remember
other,
that? Oh, you weren't here Wednesday. I just want to interrupt. Wednesday, I drew a line right here for an entry point for CVM. Look how close I was. You see how close I was? This is the line for entry. I said it's going to pull back further, right to about here.
right.
And I almost hit it on the nose.
I think that's right when I got in.
Yeah, I almost hit it. I don't know if you watched me on Wednesday, but I had it nailed just about perfect. What do I think it's going to do going forward? Despite your buying, I think it's going to go up.
Well, what do they say? Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
I think it's going to go take out this high from 927 of 993, and I think it's going to go skip the 10s. It's not going to stay in the 10s. It's going to go to the 11s.
11, okay.
I'll give you the price to take your profit, 11.07.
That's funny. Right, 7-11, 11.7. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Buy at 7-11, sell at 11.7.
I did buy at 7-Eleven, and I will sell at 11.7 some.
That is some. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, look, if this is what it's all.
Thinking myself why I didn't add yesterday towards the bottom. I knew where the bottom was, and I didn't add.
Yesterday,
I could have nailed the bottom yesterday, like buy at 880 or something. All right, CVM. We're waiting on news. We're waiting. While we're waiting, the longer it takes, the more it will go up. So let it take a little bit longer, and we can enjoy the run and take some profit. Let some ride. That's the way to play it. Pocket some cash and let the rest ride, and look for the riches.
So Lynn last week gave us ADAP, or was it 2 weeks ago? She gave us ADAP.
I want to chart that now. Does Lynn want me to chart that?
Let me see. She's going long on CFRX because of Pfizer's involvement. And for their drug to be effective against MRSA.
Interesting. CFRX.
So I guess maybe I'm sure she didn't forget about ADAP.
Well, we'll forget about it. I can't chart them all.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have it written down, but that doesn't mean anything. I have a lot of things written down.
Okay,
something about the boogie whips.
Oh, it really peaked on news, and I don't like that candle. It gave it all back and continued to give it back. So it found support where it's supposed to, according to Dr. J. That would be the middle of this green candle. So I like that. Let me draw the middle of that green candle. You know me with the pullbacks. I like the middle for the pullback.
Right.
You must have figured that out by now. Dr. J likes the middle.
Yeah.
I also like.
That's why Dr. J likes. That's why Dr. J likes the candles.
Yeah.
I use the lines, which don't tell as much, but. in a
I
way.
also like another reason for the pullback. So that would be the lower today here. So let me push this up a little bit. So that should be some support now, that area. If it breaks that area, that could be trouble. But as long as it doesn't go below the body of this candle, it's okay. Still bullish. Right now, you're looking at consolidation.
Right.
A good chance it'll just continue to shrink. The range could shrink in a little bit more and then break north. But it looks like it found support where more or less where I would expect, so that's a good sign. All right, not sure about any of the fundamental stories, but I'm sure that pop wasn't without reason, right?
Yeah, but it didn't last though. I mean, it popped down just as fast as
Yeah.
it popped up.
Well, penny stocks,
Yeah, I guess.
typical.
Right.
Prothena is stocks I own for the reason I own other stocks, and that is Parkinson's plays.
Uh-huh.
And I have a vested interest in Parkinson's plays. So therefore, I own a lot of them. This is one of them that I own. I like to make money on my disease. It's not my disease.
Well, it's not you don't own it.
And I don't own it, and I don't want it, but I want to get rid of it. Look, anybody want to take it away from me? I don't need this disease.
Is there an empath in the house? Chris Hutchinson is asking about Arrowhead.
Arrowhead, yeah, I can chart that. I'd like to take a quick look at Prothena.
Yeah, okay.
It made a really nice pop. I bought it down here at 8. So I'm doing quite well on Prothena. And
this is the Parkinson's. Is this the Parkinson's play?
Yeah, there's a few of them that I own. This is one of them.
So what's the story with that candle at the end?
Well, that's the pop on news. It's news based on a phase 1 trial. It's a long ways to Tipperary, but it'll definitely give some back. How much? Let's say middle of the green candle.
Just like that. Just like the stock Lynn just gave us. It's a nice little touch.
Yeah, but you got if you're looking for an entry, 1450, something like that. So I think this is due to give back some, right. Probably half it again.
Are you picking the middle? You're picking the middle of the candle again.
Middle of the candle.
Middle of the candle. So you don't even see you see it's too late to go back to that other line of resistance that you have.
I'll tell you a story about this company. I owned it maybe 5 years ago. I bought it at 20. Guess what I sold it at?
50.
Yeah. Exactly.
You shitting me, really?
You hit it on the nose.
Well, that was what they call a rectal reach.
It's almost like you knew.
Well,
yeah, look how high it got even higher.
I took one of my stories and then flipped it upside down.
I think I actually sold it for more than 50, but I'm not quite sure. I don't remember. But I more than doubled. So 50 is about right. I could have sold it for closer to 80, I suppose, or looking at the chart, but I didn't. But I bought it back here at 20, right in here. Sold it on the way down. Maybe I sold it in the middle of this candle. It's about right. And then I didn't touch it until, I guess, I'm not sure it was. This is a low of, something wrong with this chart? This doesn't look right. Oh, this is the drop. It had a big drop.
Right.
Yeah, so I bought it after the drop. Not quite sure where.
Now you're playing along that line.
Yeah, I bought it at around 8 or 9. I don't remember exactly either. I'd have to look. But I'm way ahead on this one now. Voyager, I bought at 8 or 9, around 9. And that one ran to 30. I didn't sell any. In fact, I added it in the high 20s. Sold for what I added at about 4 points lower. So I took a little loss on a small portion. I'm sitting with Voyager, another one of these Parkinson's plays.
Uh-huh.
So this is the small picture of what we just saw. It looked like an enormous green candle, right?
Right.
But when your interval is a week, when you're going back 5 years, it doesn't look so enormous. But it is. It's significant. Very, very significant. All
Oh,
right.
that's what
So,
you know what they say, the devil is in the details.
yeah.
Okay, so in
Let's.
terms of some of the requests, do you have something you wanted to do before I read out some of the requests?
Yeah, I wanted to do a acst, which I'm sure people are waiting for.
Exactly. That was a
It
little
had a
earlier.
nominal run this week. I bought in at $1.90 just not that long ago. I had a smaller position, a little lower, but I bought in more at $1.90. Originally, I had 290 in mind to just take 50% profit,
Yeah,
but
a nice 5-0.
I'm getting greedy. I think I'm going to wait for the news to see how the trial turned out.
What
Which
are these guys? What are
probably
these guys selling?
fish oil.
Oh, another fish oil. Oh, that's right, from last time. This was the
Yeah,
this was the competition
yeah, and it
to
could
Amaranth.
hurt Amarin. You see, this could hurt Amarin if the news is really strong. Like the lowest triglycerides better than the Visipa, could be a problem for Amarin. I don't know.
First in the market still makes the money for a while anyway.
I don't really know the fundamentals that well. I know the Amarin enthusiasts poo-poo this one, and the Acasti enthusiasts poo-poo Amarin.
Right. So
It's the Yankee Met thing.
yeah, right. You are on both sides. It's the American
I
way.
own both. Don't I root for the Yankees and Mets? I own
That's
both.
right. That's right.
I don't own MTNB. That would be the third.
Oh, that's right. MTM. Right. That's the mountain. Is that what the name of that one is?
Look at this beautiful candle. It's got to take this one out, however. 295 on the weekly. Did this take out 295? 294.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a double top as of now. We want to see this taken out. It's very important that this high be taken out.
Was there news on this guy also?
What?
Was there news today on this guy also?
No, they were waiting news on the trial. Phase 3, I believe. Again, I'm not into the fundamentals that carefully
No, I get
because
that.
I'm usually not in on the stock for that long to go look it up.
Yeah, right. It's just
So
when
it's hard
when you like the combination of letters, then that's sufficient for you. Oh,
well, I played it partly as a hedge against Amarin, believe it or not.
well, all the letters are alphabetical in order, ACST.
Yeah,
So there's
yeah.
something appealing about that. It doesn't go
All right, so
up and then it doesn't go up and then down in its name.
we should at least look at the data. You can see different picture on the daily. Today was a huge pop.
Yeah.
In fact, we had beautiful 4 days of huge pops.
Yeah, exactly. It seems to be a lot of mo on this guy.
Support would be right here, right where the cross is.
Right there.
Yeah, you got to go to the biggest green candle. right in there.
Right.
That's and right below this low. So support would be right there. Let's say at 215.
So there's your inflection point.
So if it pulls back to 215, I think it's going to find support. In other words, if we get news that's either subpar or just blah, it probably will pull back to that level. If we get terrible news, it'll crash. In which case, I'm out my profits and I'll wind up losing money. But I have a good feeling about the trial results, so I'm going to stay in it. You got to be in it.
That's right.
You got what I say? You got to be in it to win it.
You got to be in it to win it.
All right, I'm going to stay in it because I want to win it.
Yeah, well, I mean, just the fact that you got in at anything cheaper than this is already good news. Would you get in around $2 and around that area?
$1.90 and maybe $1.60. I don't remember the first.
Hey, it's very nice.
Something like that.
So
the $1.90 one, I had in mind the swing trade to $2.90. I guess I didn't do it.
Well, you might have a shot on Monday. But,
I almost pulled the trigger at $2.90, but I didn't. Well, something told me stay in it. So I listened to the little voice inside of me and see what happens.
Well, 290 was like its peak. That prior peak is at 290. The one that's over there.
Yeah, and it also corresponded to a 50% profit, which I kind of like.
But it was another one of those things like we just saw today: a quick in and a quick out, right? So was that a sort of a bit of a feint? I mean, are we looking at the same thing again, or are we looking at something that's real this time?
Oh, I know. I think if the news is just blah or just barely meets, it's going to go down to that 215 level. If it beats expectations, it's going to soar to double to $5 or more. And if it doesn't meet, it'll crash. Very dangerous, but I like to live on the edge.
Well, you know something. I always liken the stock market to a slow casino. So
yeah, it is. Sometimes not so slow.
Sometimes not so slow. Well, I'm slow. So if I'm slow, then the market's slow, right?
Slower than the craps. Slower than craps.
So Nick Tech is asking, is it still good to enter on the stock?
On ACST?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think to wait for the pullback, or you think there might not even be a pullback?
Well, my gut feeling is that somehow or another it'll be that pullback to 215. But gotcha. I'm still in it, so the little voice inside of me said stay in it, so I don't know. I hope I'm wrong about the pullback. I want to make money on this thing.
Well,
I'm greedy. I want to make more than I could have made if I sold today.
Did it even hit 290 on the day? You have the candle.
It hit 290, yeah.
So if you had the
yeah.
Let's move on to agrx, because that's what Snaib
I just wanted to take a look at amzn. It certainly looks like it bottomed here, right?
Oh, amzn, yeah. We might as well, since we're doing fish.
It certainly looks like it bottomed at $20. It's a good number to bottom at, right?
Were you looking for that kind of pullback?
amzn, if it bottomed at $20, there's nothing wrong with buying it Monday morning. I think you're looking at what's my 50% rule right in here somewhere.
Right.
So that would be my stop loss if I wanted to buy a really tight stop loss. I like this for a gamble, tight stop loss, go in at the open and shoot the moon.
Yeah, what was that big takedown on about 4 or 5 days ago? What was that?
If I had to pick between right now entering, if I didn't own either Cassidy or amzn,
right,
I'd have to buy amzn.
Because it looks like a bargain right now.
Yeah, it looks more like a bargain than a casty. It already had its pullback. A casty didn't.
Good point.
All right. What's the other one?
Snaid was asking about agrx.
Athesis?
No.
Oh,
Let me see.
AGRS?
AGRX.
AGRX?
Agile
That one,
Therapeutics. That's one of
I
your
don't know.
faves.
Do I have to chart that one? I sold it at like 210
Well,
for like 20 cents. I'm not happy because I think it's 230 now.
it's 250,
So
my friend.
that's going to upset me charting that one. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you had these are one of those shapes I was looking to ask you about anyway. It's not, it's just one of these.
AGRX, I know the fundamentals are very strong. If the news is good, whatever news they're waiting on, it's going to take out that $3 high. I don't even have to chart it.
Uh-huh.
And it'll make a huge pop. So then I'm going to really get sick. I might go back into that one. I don't know. I just don't want to chart it. It's actually going to upset me. So I really don't want to chart it.
Yeah, it's actually got it's got a bit of Mo building for. So yeah, I don't want to tell you that because I'm looking at the chart.
I don't want to chart it.
I know I'm looking at the chart, and I don't want to spoil it for you because you're absolutely right. It looks like it passed this point of inflection and it's actually taking on a new slope.
It's a Dr. J mistake.
What, getting out early?
Yeah.
What do you make?
I made like 5% or some small percent, 7%. I don't know what I made. It wasn't enough. I should have been greedy. I played it originally.
Snaid was asking whether or not you took my advice to big profits again.
I don't remember whose advice I took.
I'm not taking responsibility for that one, my friend. I'll take responsibility for some others.
Anyway, what do we always say? Do your own due diligence.
Yeah.
Our opinion, your own. Do not constitute advice. And that goes for Spike, it goes for me, it goes for Lynn, it goes for Clarence, it goes for all our guests, for Cabinet Guy, and so on. Cabinet Guy wants ddog, right?
Oh, ddog, yeah, from the beginning. He asked about that.
I just want to take a quick look at Amazon.
You have Amazon right there. Now you're
What did I say about Amazon? I said that it's going to be on the slow path, the slow growth path, and that's exactly what it's doing. I said it would be underperforming its tech rivals, but it will be going up, and that's exactly what's been happening. I tell you, I'm clairvoyant. Am I not?
The fact that it's right before Christmas has got to be a.
I really nailed this call right here. I said slower growth than its rivals in the tech field, the tech giants, but it will go up. And this is a daily. The daily does not look as good as the 3-week. This looks good. There's nothing wrong with the chart. I would add here, but don't expect a tremendous run. Just expect a gradual growth until it breaks through the 200-day, at which point you can buy, because it'll go up. But until then, it's slow growth to the 200. That's how I see it. Slow growth to 1822. So it's a little frustrating to those who own it right now, but stay with it. I could take a quick look at the weekly. I'm staying with it. Always tempted to add, because when in doubt, buy Amazon.
That's right.
Isn't it sitting pretty up at 100 on the weekly? And it's also sitting very pretty on its new trend line. I like it.
Certainly is.
We like Amazon, but then again, I always like Amazon, so I'm an unreliable opinion.
I could probably afford one share of this.
Then buy one share.
Well, right. I'm actually saving up my money for Berkshire Hathaway.
All right, buy one share.
One share of Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays with these, most of these brokers have very low commissions or zero commissions. You can buy
Right.
one share.
Right.
What, ddog?
ddog.
ddog. We looked at that last week, I think. Datadog. Did it have a good week? I can't
Datadog.
tell from this crazy chart on the weekly. Crazy looking chart. It had a good week. It has like
Oh,
a,
it's got a little more going up.
it's a very nice candle.
Maybe.
Hammer, whatever you want to call it. I like the looks of this last candle. And let's look at the daily. Daily. Daily doesn't look as good as the weekly somehow. It's just finding a resistance. It's not. Yeah, it's had a couple of tries at this top line here, right?
Right.
It's got to go past the Monday candle, the Friday candle, last Friday. It's got to get through 39.13, and it hasn't all week, I don't think. No.
No.
So 39.13 before we see some action. It's banging on the door, though. Interesting play. I don't know. What do you think of this chart? It's hard to look at it. The candles are so fat.
Right. Seems like kissing your sister.
Yeah, it's all right. This is a more interesting look. It does have a trend line. It's certainly an ascending trend line, but it also is finding resistance up here. So it looks to me like it may pull back. It may pull back to this 50 again. I think it's more likely to test the 50 again than break through at this point. It's had a number of tries all week. So if it gets back to 36, it's probably a buy. And then with a tight stop below 33, you're out. So you're in at 36, out at 33, and you shoot for the moon, right? If you want to play this.
So it would seem.
Yeah. Yeah, so the place to get in would be 36. Or you wait for it to take this out and just go long then. But you don't buy now unless it takes out Friday's high. That's how I see it. Two ways to play it. Take out Friday's high, jump in. Pull back to 30. Pull back to
right. Wait for a pullback.
Jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Two ways to play this one.
So you're saying that fat candle is sort of defining the range going forward.
Yeah. Is there one more? We got time for one more, and that's it.
Okay. Do you want to do ADAP?
Wasn't there TRXC? Somebody?
Oh,
else?
yeah. Somebody else was asking for that. Let's see who we had for that one.
TR. What was the symbol?
Give me a sec. TRXC.
Yeah.
That was from Nick Tech.
All right.
Yeah. That's right. That was the one we should have looked at, right?
We'll wrap it up with this.
Yep. Sounds good.
Oh, look at this volume. What is this, volume? Huge volume today, right? Well, we've had a couple of days.
Transenterix? What kind of company
I
is
don't
this?
like this kind of stock with like trades at one number the whole day. I mean, not my kind of stock. I just looking at this chart, I pass.
Right.
I don't want to know anything. I pass.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
It's not a Dr. J stock.
unless there's a fun fundamental story about it, Nick.
I don't even whatever. I'm a pass. I take a pass. So I think we wrap it up for the evening.
Sounds good to me. You know, it's we've been on for a good hour.
We covered a lot of stuff.
Hope people aren't bored with our pitter patter.
Look, we covered a lot of stuff tonight. We covered the Knicks. Didn't really cover the Nets.
Well, you never committed to that Dallas Philadelphia game.
Covered the Knicks. We did
changing the subject. All right, I'm going Philly. That's it. I'm going Philly.
your best
So
football
everybody
pick.
go the other way.
No, isn't this your best football pick of the season? The Eagles.
The Eagles for the Eagles this week?
Yeah, didn't you tell me this is your best pick of the season?
No, I said this was the most confusing to me.
No, it's your best pick of the season.
Well,
No ideas on Facebook.
Cabinet guy says ddog if you're adventurous. I agree right there, because
Sean,
unless there's a story.
Sean, I haven't been in Facebook in a while. ARWR, Chris is mad at me. Chris.
Oh, that's right. Arrowhead. That's right. We were going to talk about Arrowhead.
I'm still in Arrowhead. I did sell my ALNY for a nice profit, but I'm holding Arrowhead. I'm holding Arrowhead forever. I like Arrowhead.
It's actually a nice looking chart.
Yeah, it's a good chart, and the fundamentals are strong. Cabinet guy, go Patriots. Where do you want them to go? Where do you want them to go, cabinet guy? I know where a lot of people would like them to go. Well, we have Belichick and Brady, as Steve Somers likes to say, right?
Belichick.
We're going to wrap it up.
Belichick.
We're wrapping it up with saying sayonara, shalom, or revoir, arrivederci. And you want to end it with
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. What else? What else is there? Kwanzaa.
Well, we'll be back before the new year.
How about Kwanzaa?
I'm not sure. I guess Kwanzaa is still a thing.
Yeah.
I know. I'm sounding so white when I say it.
Yeah.
But
all right. Yeah. Thanks everybody for viewing. I mean, Spike and I are absolutely thrilled that so many people have found us. We have been averaging like crazy numbers for just a rinky-dink homemade production. So let's keep that up. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe to the
Ixnay on the Inky Dinky Ray.
All right, well, Spike, you're not pixelated tonight, so we're doing well.
Yes, exactly. Well,
good night.
Have a good week and have a profitable week, and
say good night.
Enjoy that Christmas pudding.
Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie. All right.